Welcome back. So, part 2, 3, this is part 2. Okay, put that in there, and see, here, let's go ahead and update this. Right, did I, okay, open it so that, uh, 233, part 2, part 2. Okay, there we go. There we go, and it should register as 2 viewers here in a second, which apparently is the first 2 viewers are always me, which is okay, I guess. Back from the break. Okay, let's go over to here. Back from the break. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay. T1, P0 is always the top one. And now, okay, a tenuous deal. Okay, let's think about this for a moment. Um, so I might actually turn that to T3 P0 because the end result, and then T1 P0 is sort of like the start, and so, and honestly, that I would have 3 pages. I have to rethink this. Um, okay, let's do the structuring part of it first. Let's go into this one, the second page here, and we're gonna knock all this stuff out. And wait a second, what's I gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna knock down all this stuff out of it. So, and we're going to go ahead and okay, so this is, we can actually delete this part out here too. Proof for a bargain. We don't have to put proof for a bargain on here because it's not going to be, it's a page instead of a title, instead of a, technically a title, okay? So then this one to this one. Okay, so this is going to be the result. This is going to be problem solution, and we're going to do the same thing with here. So we'll open this one up, and frenemies, then the boundary. Okay, red leaves to go get Max. Well, red is gone. Red is gone. Kurt brought all the second in command. And okay. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't even make sense to have a title two as an end page, anyways. The way I have it set up there, um, just because, um, or it'd be title three. Title three is an end page because the titles are like chapter titles. In other words, the end page is not its own special title page. So, um, do, 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 and we can take this out, and we can there. Okay, and that's how that works. I can worry about renaming those other pages after I get these done. Okay, so proof red hiding hood, proof for barbarian. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna have to expend some brain cells here. Um, oh wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait. Red leaves. Oh, did I put this back in? I bet I put it back in. Red leaves for the werewolf village. That's gonna be the second one. So, okay, so we're going to do this thing. All right, so, well, I keep forgetting about that. You can't control S there in the field because it doesn't save there. This will save the scene, and this will save the room data here. And okay, so this is where I have to get creative. How does he? He knows where she is, so he can pull her out. Then he has to have a conversation with her, and the choices are going to be based on conversation. It's going to be a little dialogue, a short little dialogue thing, and I'm not even going to spend that much energy doing that. Okay, so we already have one, two, three, four. We already have 4 pages, so that means that the individual pages can be kept to a minimum. So I could say less than, we'll say the max 8 pages. The max 8 pages for here for this for these decision points. Max 8 pages on the other one, so that we don't get much more than 20. Um, Even though 20 is a hard limit or the hard max, I'm still going to be a little easy leeway, maybe up to 22. So even though I consider 20 kind of the end here, if I make it within 21 or 22, I won't necessarily have to compress it down till it hits 20. Well, I'll think of it like that, sort of. Okay. Then the boundaries. Bulls are out of hiding. Okay, so this is where I'm supposed to do some brainstorming, I guess. Do I do traditional brainstorming? When Baum was watching this, he always gets mad at me for using the AI too much, and um, if I'm gonna not use it to bounce ideas off of, then I need to Okay, so this is kind of dumb, or you could say it's ironic, or you could say it's ironic. It's ironic that I'm going to use the AI to give me some ideas on how not to use the AI, right? Okay, so let's see here. Let's choose. We're going to choose Grok this time. Okay. Um, let's go and look at Grok. Oh, Grok's been acting a little naughty lately, being, too busy for stuff. Okay. Okay. So I'm finally working on chapter 6. I compressed 4 story beats into 2, and honestly, using the same pages, it's just that the second and fourth beats are informational or results from uh, what takes place during 1 and 3. Okay. With me this far? With me this far? Of course it is. It's just curse lift demo. Yes. Beat. Okay, and then compress 2 beats. Um yes, actually, so I've decided the interactive arts decision points happen around Max pulling Red out of fighting. Just amounts to a conversation, because he's still going to visit the village. Um, uh, and then B2 resolves that by the fact he's going to visit the werewolves. The other interactive part is the deal Kurt makes with Violet. The result is not really the page after is not really the result of that particular deal, but it resolves the problem of Max wanting to get them to join his armies. So they all decide to go with Max's deal. So the pages are the same, but they're grouped differently. In my own words, to make sure we're aligned. Initial conversation, Max pulls out data hiding and pitches a recruiter for the werewolf job. The mostly dialogue-driven choices in how Red responds, negotiates, accepts. Regardless of the player's choices, the outcome's fixed. Red agrees or is coerced to go to the werewolf village. So this choice flavors his attitude, motivation, loyalty going forward, but doesn't change the destination. And honestly, it's not going to change any other part of the story either, just because of the nature of Phase 1. Phase 1 is just a basic, not even a fully, fully complete choose your own adventure. It's more like an interactive story, so you can decide kind of how you experience it. That's mostly what these decision points are. They're also to kind of set up some puzzles later. Like this might actually be a dialogue puzzle. Um, that happens. So you might have a thing where uh you as if since I'm probably going to let you play the villains, where you as Max have to convince Red to go down to the werewolf village, right? And so she might not accept, depending on how the dialogue puzzle goes. In fact, I should actually kind of put that in my notes here. Just I may never look at the note again. I mean, it's usually the case, but it means it's in the back of my head so that I can remember that. So when we get to that point, I'll remember that. Let's see. Um, in chapter 6, we have Max pulling Red out of hiding and convincing her to go to the werewolf village. I guess I don't know. I guess I'm sort of uh considering the werewolves like sort of like tribal people. You might even say Native American, although I'm not following that whole Native American thing. Or like um, if you're using the old term of Indians, and I don't mean Indians from India. So if anybody from India is watching this, when I refer to Indians, I'm just talking about the Old West, of what we used to call the quote unquote Native Americans. Which to me, Native American is still kind of a misnomer, and I almost think that a white guy come up with that term because I'm Native. I'm a Native American. I'm not any tribe. I'm not in any tribe. Or I'm not Aborigine or however you want to say it at all. I'm European descent. But I was born here. I was raised here. I've lived here most of my life, except for one short stint, 4 years, when I was a kid, because my dad had to go overseas for 4 years to Belgium. So I've been in America most of my life. I consider myself a native. I mean, technically, I'm a native, right? uh, and usually when they say Native Americans, they mean the people that were here before. And even um, the whole concept of property and owning stuff, some of these tribes they didn't have a concept of land ownership. They just moved wherever they moved. And I'm not saying that we should treat them bad or wrong, or like I'm better any better because I'm European or something. I'm just simply saying that it wasn't even a lot of the stuff that happened wasn't even how do I say it? It wasn't that we just took a bunch of land from the Indians. That's not how it worked. How it worked is a lot of people started coming over here, and soon they were encroached upon until things so bad happened that they had to put them on reservations, or else it would kill all the settlers. And is it yeah, predominantly Europeans um, settled over here, right? But the thing is and I'm not saying all tribes didn't have a land ownership thing, because some of them might have had property. In fact, when we first came over, or I should say like the Pilgrims and the Puritans and whatever first came over, they had actually a good relationship with the Indians there, the Native Americans there. They're Aboriginal Americans. Can say Aboriginal Americans, I guess. That kind of works. That would include Canada's native tribes. And they actually call the Canadian ones, they call them First Nations, which you can kind of say that. I mean, if you want to say they're the first organized like structure, that they're First Nations, meaning they were here before European settlers. Okay, I'll buy that. I'm what would almost call them tribal Americans. Why? Because they organize themselves into tribes. That's how they classify themselves. They classify themselves as the tribes, and they still go by tribes, and that's fine. And I could call them tribal Americans because Native American to me still sounds it sounds dumb because anybody that's born here and lived here, no matter where they're from, if they're from Africa, it doesn't matter. And in fact, if you look back far enough, um, there's some evidence suggesting that most of the people over here or over in Europe, and the most of the people over here came from Asia, because at some point the Mongol hordes came in to Europe, and they took wives and whatever, maybe raped them. I don't know. I shouldn't maybe use the dreaded R word, but I just mean they came in and they conquered the area. And so they replaced a lot of the white Europeans that have been there, the Germanic tribes or whatever, uh, Romans, Gauls, whatever came before, and a lot of them were Mongolian descent. Now, on the other hand, those that came over the land bridge over to the Americas um, were also Asian descent because they went the other way. So going through China and stuff. If you continue to go east, you come back around, right? And so you're talking about China, Russia, and then there's a land bridge, and the land bridge somehow they made their way to North America through Alaska or whatever, right? So if that's the case, we're all descended of Asians, specifically, you might say Mongolian, or you might even say Chinese, which is really funny to think about. If you think about a majority of us are that the European um, the main European section was so decimated that um, there's probably not a lot of purely, I don't know if you call them Caucasian or what, because there's different people groups, right, in Europe. But anyways, I'm going off. I'm sorry, I'm going off. I'm just let's go back to my story. I'm thinking of these as we'll just go, for lack of a better term, even though I don't like using it. We'll say like sort of like Native Americans. Now they're not really, when they turn them back into humans. At least a couple of them are going to get turned back. We'll see. They'll just be regular people. There won't be any particular dealers, but yeah, maybe you can think. Don't not think of them as Native Americans either. Um, you just think of tribes of like back in dinosaur times when they were hunting woolly mammoths and stuff. There were tribes, right? And so a lot of them were tribes. Um, and I can think of it like that. It's like Warcraft, and I have never played World. I've never played the original Warcraft games, and I never played World of Warcraft, so I know only a little bit about Warcraft, right? I know it's orcs versus humans, and then I got the Warcraft movie on 4K. I still think the Warcraft movie is pretty good, honestly. But then again, if I maybe if you're a real Warcraft fan, you think maybe you think the movie's dumb. Believe it or not, I just watched Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, with Chris Pine in it, and it's not too bad, but they do a lot of stuff where they have to explain a lot of stuff. So somebody coming in there is just like you hit it with all these different names and all these different things. I recognize a few of the names because some of the games that were based on that. So I recognize the names. I never played Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played any of the computer games either. RPGs were my thing, and strategy games were my thing. But it seems to me that the Warcraft movie did a way better job at explaining to newbies what's going on than this Dungeons and Dragons movie did. So it didn't really. Um, I don't know. They did a bunch of stuff, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. Because unless you're a hardcore fan, maybe you'd recognize it. And even some of the hardcore fans probably don't even like the movie because the way the I guess Wizards of the Coast has been kind of woke and stuff, you know, ever since they got a hold of the did they buy out TSR or something? I think, you know, the originators of Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, I digress. But anyways, like I was saying in like the Warcraft movie, we'll just say from the movie because I don't really know the games that well, but where the orcs were tribes, right? So they're tribal people, and that's the way these werewolves are set up. That's just the way I think of them. So when she goes to the werewolf village, they got huts and um, you know uh, they probably I don't know what they wear, but uh, they go shirtless. Of course, they don't need a shirt; they got fur all over, but have armbands and kind of whatever you can say. I this I guess I should just kind of stick to my story here and not get into deep. Use Grok for story ideas. I haven't seen that. Just read. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, John. Unless you don't want me to use your name in the stream, it's just the first name though, so I think it'll be okay. Or I could just call you 19, 19, 13, 19. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Um, yeah. I use both Grok and Croc. I use both Grok and Chat GPT to bounce ideas off of. Somebody I was talking to though was kind of getting mad because thinking I was using the AI too much. I don't actually directly use the ideas of the AI. I just use to spark ideas so that I can just kind of bounce off of people. I read some of the Wheel of Time books. I didn't read all of them. I got to a point, and then um, I don't know what caused it, what happened to the thing. Maybe I couldn't get him or get a hold of him or something at some point. And then I stopped watching it when he died, and then I stopped reading them when he died, and I was just like, whatever. Maybe I'll watch him again sometime. YouTube name may be construed as racist, but it's context to the vaccine. Yeah. Well, just I don't know. If people think you're racist, tell them. Uh, just tell them it's not about race. It's about, anyways. Grok really helped me out, and then I did just deleted all my stuff on accident. Oh, I see. Well, anyways, okay, so I'm thinking of my world. The werewolves are sort of tribal, kind of, and okay, so let me write this down here. Sanderson wrapped the series up nicely. So you think it was yeah, so you think he did a good job of communicating what I forget his name. I forget the actual author's name though. But yeah. Oh, that's good. Then maybe I'll go back to reading them. The Amazon series I guess kind of went woke, or they kind of went gay. I guess I don't know about other woke stuff, but they did this gay stuff in it, and I don't remember any of that from the books at all. But whatever. Amazon is Amazon. Okay, so in chapter 6, we have Max pulling Red out of hiding, convincing her to go to the werewolf village. What was I going to put here? You're talking about bad guys in your story? Yes, Brian Sanderson did justice to Robert Jordan. Yeah, I couldn't watch it. Yeah, well, I don't have access to Amazon Prime right now. Anyways, I'm not going to pay for it, so I wouldn't watch it anyways. But anywho, yeah, werewolves are bad guys. Max is our main bad guy. Okay, so I guess if I can do this in a brief way because it's kind of involved. But okay, so you probably remember me talking about the story about the Magic Kingdom that turned to tourism. It's that story. In fact, it's really old. From what I remember, from what I wrote down or whatever, it goes almost all the way back to like 2005. So I tried multiple times to make this game and it just never worked. But I think I figured out a way of doing it. But anyways, so this Magic Kingdom is falling on. They turn to tourism, so they don't have to tax their citizens, and it's going along really well. And then they've kind of fallen on hard times. So this new guy comes in and he buys up Enchanted Lands from the king, and the king is acting weird. And I probably actually have spoilers in here. In fact, I'm showing everything that I'm doing developing the game, so there's a lot of spoilers. So don't worry about the spoilers unless you're like, oh, I don't want to, I want to wait. But you probably shouldn't wait because this is going to take ages and ages to get done. So just you're not going to be able to see all the spoilers anyways. So it's rumored that there's a guy that was banished, an evil wizard that was banished, and there's rumors that he's back. And this new guy comes in and he buys Enchanted Lands, and then he closes down everything. The hotels, most of the hotels, the restaurants, whatever, it's closing the resort down. And there's 4 schools, right? Which used to be a real school, but now they're just for the tourists basically, because the tourists can come in and you can be a wizard for a day, for a weekend, whatever. You can be a knight. You can slay a dragon. You can be a princess or a fairy godmother. And these schools are set up to where you have like a little brief training before your adventure in Enchanted Lands. And so he's closed up most of the schools. Night school. And it used to be called Knights Academy just because I thought it sounded cool, but then because this is comedy, I switched it to Night School to play on the Night School, N-I-G-H-T, Night School, but it's K-N-I-G-H-T, Night School. And they're training the military with real weapons, and the dragons. Now the dragons are normally friendly, and they normally provide a service. They pretend to, you know, to you can slay a dragon and stuff, but you're not really slaying them. It's all for fun, right? It's all for the theme park. But now the dragons are have been enchanted and they're acting really badly, burning villages and abducting maidens and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of havoc. Um, so so this guy turns out to be this guy that bought it out turns out to be the wizard that was banished before, because he tried a similar thing. He wanted to conquer all the realms, and he wanted to trying to open multiple portals, trying to find a way of doing that so he could march more people through and be able to conquer all the different realms connected to to the resort. And so they eventually they caught him. They banished him, and somehow he's gotten back into Enchanted Lands. And the king is acting weird because it's not the real king. In fact, we don't know where the real king is. And so we come into the story where the wizard Hubert, originally he was going to be called Harold. In fact, I have in my notes that I call him Harold Halfway or Halfway Harold, because he gets half of his magic stolen. And I was going with Harold, and I think maybe Harry Potter influenced the name. Nothing about it. I didn't copy Harry Potter. I didn't think about Harry Potter. I called him Harold, and so I realized maybe I did that because of Harry Potter. Possibly, I don't know if I did or not, but so I changed his name to Hubert, and now I might change it back because I can use that as a joke and blah blah blah. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so Hubert is the king's chief advisor and his best friend, and he's the one that actually uh, convinced the king to turn it into a tourist resort, and it was working well. And so now he needs to find out what's going on, and he doesn't have almost anyone he can trust. He does have one friend, the Count, and he comes in later. But so he decides to come in. Decides to look outside of Enchanted Lands to find somebody that he can trust. So he brings an outsider from our realm. His name is John Thomas. Yes, that's why I did that. And um, so he's in our world, and so he's going to help Hubert find out what's going on. Okay, so that kind of sets up the premise. At this point, they've kind of figured out what's going on. There's a princess. She's in the beginning she's kidnapped and she's tied up to a wine cask in the wine cellar of the only open hotel, the Grand Enchanted Landian, and at the I call it the Renaissance Fair, or the other name I give it is Orthogon Alley. And yes, I did that on purpose. It's supposed to be a joke. I was just trying to think of names for the strip because it's sort of like it's a strip. Um, so the whole resort is set up sort of like a cloverleaf kind of deal. I mean, really, if you think about it, it's like the wagon wheel thing in Disneyland, Disney World, right? It's a similar kind of setup, but from the central, there's a central. It's not really a hub, but at the end of the street is the Grand Enchanted Landian. It's the center. It's sort of like where the castle would be in the Disney parks. And there's a strip that has hotels and it's got inns and taverns, or you can just say hotels and restaurants and shops, right? Because if you go there for a vacation, sometimes you don't need to be a wizard or a knight or something. You can just go there and stay at the hotels and stay at the hotel and um, eat food and go shopping and all that stuff. And so what I called the strip is I called it first. I thought of the Renaissance Fair because it's kind of ironic because it's a medieval style kingdom, but in it there's a place called the Renaissance Fair. Where a Renaissance Fair, an actual Renaissance Fair, is kind of tries to mimic medieval times and activities and stuff. So I call it the Renaissance Fair, and then another name I thought of was Orthogon Alley because of Diagon Alley. It's a little subtle nod, a little joke, in joke for because of Harry Potter, right? So Diagon Alley, diagonally, right? Orthogon Alley, orthogonally, whatever. So that was just my little dumb joke. Okay, so at this point, um, Max, our villain, he's got a mine in the Gnome Kingdom. The Gnome Kingdom is run by Barty, and gnomes are evil, mischievous little deals. They don't do anything themselves. They're always for the quick buck. And Max promises that they can loot different realms if they let him have a section of his kingdom, um, of their kingdom, for mines. And so he's abducting tourists, he's abducting citizens, and all of them are working the yeah, very funny, yeah, exactly. All of them are working the mines for this quicksilver, and quicksilver is basically the magical mineral that runs the whole entire kingdom, right? So we got flying trains, we got light sources, magical light sources. We got magic mirrors, two-way magic mirrors. We have we got a lot of modern conveniences that are kind of enabled by this. It's not electricity; it's by magic, but the Quicksilver is sort of what amplifies it. You got portals that open with Quicksilver, and Max's whole goal is to create a machine that can open thousands of portals to all the different realms, and he can march whole armies through. Normally, it's just a few people can go through because the portal only opened up big enough for you to walk through. And so he's building this big machine, um, and at this point, he wants to recruit. There's these werewolves that he wants to recruit, and uh, so at this point, he needs he needs to find a way of recruiting the werewolves, and the way he's going to do it is there's this character. Now she's based on Red Riding Hood, uh, and it's the only one that I got in here that's actual fairy tale character. But I try to play it down a little bit, but it's still kind of basically supposed to be the same character. And so basically, Red and Grandma had a scam going where they would get the werewolf pelts by seducing werewolves, and then getting their skins basically, and until an accident where with Grandma, where one of the werewolves got wise, and you can imagine what happened to Grandma. So Red's in hiding, and she's actually hiding in the Gnome Kingdom as well. So and Max knows everything that goes on inside there, so he knows that she's there. So he's got to pull her out, and he's got to convince her to go to the werewolf village to recruit them. And so I'm putting a note here that saying later on when I get to. Okay, so I don't know if you probably don't know what I'm doing, why this is the text and stuff. Yeah, let's go over here. Let's see. Okay, let's make sure everything is saved here. This is an engine called Redot or Redo, depending on how you want to pronounce it. There's a free open source engine called Godot, and this is what they call a fork. So somebody took the code because it's open source, and then they kind of tailored it to their own thing. And there are various reasons for this, but I won't go into it here because it's not important here. Um, okay, so at this point, so what I'm doing is essentially this is sort of like a choose your own adventure. It's not a full choose your own adventure. There's not multiple endings. There's not dead ends, that sort of thing. And it doesn't go in loop. It always goes forward, and there's no state changes. So it's very, very simple program wise, right? It's not like those old text adventures. It's not like a King's Quest or a Space Quest, right? At this point. And then okay, so let me also open the phase thing. I've explained this so many times that a couple of people that have been in here before probably know this by heart now, but let me pull up the where's it at? There we go. This one. I gotta relog into Pastebin because I haven't logged in there in ages. Development roadmap. So I have this in these phases. Okay, so I have about 17 phases right now, and what it is they're added functionality, and I expand the story out. So instead of making a full point-and-click adventure game like a full King's Quest, I'm doing it in phases. The most basic kind of adventure game would be a choose your own adventure, right? The old choose your own adventure books, where you pick a choice, you get some text, you pick a choice, and you go to it, and it leads you to good end or bad end or whatever. In this case, it's not really exactly a game at this point. It's just interactive. It's an interactive story. So basic choose your own adventure style game. That's phase one. That's what I'm working on right now. This one will separate the navigation from the choices. Right now, you pick choices by hitting 1 to 9 on the keyboard or the numpad. But later on, I'll be separating the actual choices from the actual, go here, go west, go north, whatever. So they have separate directional controls along with the actual regular choices. Then I have this room independence thing, and what I mean by that is I'm using these different files. I won't go into the whole thing about JSON files, but they're files that describe the page or the room, and I have an individual one for every room, for every page, basically. And eventually I'm going to have them all combined into one to where it's for one location. So if you're like in a bedroom, all the bedroom scenes will be in one file, and eventually I'll actually make it an actual room like you would find it in a adventure game engine. Not that you probably even know what I'm talking about exactly. You might, but anyways, multiple player characters in phase 4. Then I start adding audiovisual stuff, just like basic pictures, the basic background music, some public domain stuff, whatever. gonna have a little like the little thumbnail sketches beside the text. It's still gonna act like it does. Then I introduce a parser, if you know what that is. The old text adventures where you typed in words, you go north, open door, that sort of thing. Um, that's where I introduce that here. And I'll still have the same commands. Like you'll still hit like for the first choice you hit 1, but instead of it automatically going to the room, you'll hit 1 and enter, and then eventually I will add like more commands, pick up and stuff. Because in 7 I implement an inventory system. Then I expand the interactivity so that you actually have verbs and actions, and then and I might change this around a little bit, depends. But then I have the save state system, state save system, not save state system, state save system. Well, I don't know, save state system, whatever. What it means is I will be able to have room states. In other words, instead of multiple pages going to the same bedroom, one for turning on the light, one for turning off the light. If you turn on the light and then you go back to the same page, the light would still be off. So the way I have to do it now is if I want to turn it off, but then I want to go back into it, I have to go back into a room with the light off, and it's got to be a second page right now. But when I get to this part, it's gonna save the room state. In other words, you turn off the light, and the light is there. The next time you go into the room, the light will still be off, until you turn it back on again, whatever. And then I add puzzles in number 10. So that's like way down. So so right now, let me show you what the game looks like here. I don't know if you're listening. You're probably working, so if you can't see this, don't worry about it. You can check it out later, or I might make a little gameplay video because some people were asking about that for a different reason though. But I may make a little deal just showing how to play this. Very simple. You have a menu up here. If you can't see it, it's fine. I have these words up here. So let's go to chapter 1. This is organized into chapters. Before it wasn't in chapters. Now it's in little discrete packets of chapters of various units, narrative units, essentially. Let's go. Okay. Hubert puts his 3 magic hats on his desk, where there is also sits a large box, which almost looks like a safe with a little door. On the front of the box, there's a small label which reads Magic Mailbox 001 of 100. Property is halfway Hubert. Hit 1 if you wish to use the Magic Mailbox. Hit 2 if you wish to use a spell or 2 to send John his silver ticket. So we'll say 1. Now it goes to the page, the Magic Mailbox. Hubert pulls open the door, and the box puts a single silver ticket into it, and then says the destination out loud: John Thomas, Cerulean, Benny Wonky Chocolate Bar. Oh, inside the wrapper. Hubert then just waits. While gazing into the crystal ball, Hubert notices John working at the library. Okay, so we hit 1, and while working at the library, John is putting books back on the shelves when he notices a book that's fallen on the floor behind him. He picks it up, noting the hole left in the bookcase, and proceeds to put it back when it seems to jump out again. He does this for a few more times before really reading the cover, which says Unicorn Sign Language for Beginners. Hit 1 to attempt to put in another section. Hit 2 to take it to the reference desk. We'll say 2 this time. John decides to take it over to the reference desk and ask if they've ever heard of this book. After replying in the negative, the reference librarian tells John he could probably take it home then. So I hit 1 to head home. While at home, John proceeds to read the book through. After reading it, he's a bit confused and amused because of the diagrams. John returns to work the next day, to a pretty uneventful workday. On his way home, John stops at the local store for his favorite candy bar. Upon opening the wrapper, he notices a silver ticket inside and pulls it out. Flipping the ticket over, he reads the words on the back. Okay. As soon as John utters the magic words, a portal appears in front of him. Inside the portal is what appears to be the inside of a train cabin with various people sitting. Being utterly amazed, John steps through the portal in what appears to be a train cabin. I said train cabin twice. That's something I'll have to fix. And he notices a beautiful young woman in front. The beautiful woman is grabbed by a short, fat little man as the train cabin starts tumbling, causing John to fall. John awakens in the forest without leaves and spots Hubert approaching him. Hubert introduces himself and tells John to follow, and they both start walking. Okay, so that's basically it. You hit 1 to continue. If I don't put the instructions, if I don't put which button to hit for which choice, you won't know it because it's very very simple. The engine or the framework, whatever you want to call it, is very simple. Right now, I don't have a separate structure for like instructions or anything like that. It's just in the description. You edit the description, and it shows up. Okay, so that's basically as short as I can make the whole thing. It's kind of ridiculous because I should be able to explain everything in a few short sentences, but whatever. It's the way that works. Okay, so now I'm gonna write a note to myself real quick in my notes that I may never look at again, but hopefully it means I will actually be um yeah. Chapter okay. Chapter 6 we have Max pulling Red out of hiding and convincing her to go to the Rower Village. This could possibly turn into a dialogue puzzle where Max has to figure out the right combination of statements to convince Red to go to the Werewolf Village. Okay. I just wanted to leave that little note for me so that I remember that later on because the whole parser and inventory and all that stuff is way on down the line. We'll see how far because all of this is kind of almost front loading here. When I got the majority of the story done, the subsequent phases should take a way less time. But anyways, so basically, I decided to do it in phases to add on. I add on to the framework, and then I also expand out the story a little bit so that I'm not too overwhelmed and can wrap my head around each thing that I need to put in there. So basically, it's after I broke down the adventure game into various parts, various things that I can add to it, and so that it evolves into a full point and click adventure like the kind you played in the 90s. Okay, so now let me go back to, I think this was Grok that I was using here. Uh, okay, fully synced up. Decision point one happens initial conversation. Max pulls her out of hiding. Mostly dialogue driven choices and how Red responds. Okay, blah blah blah. This clean. There's suggestions. I actually don't need these suggestions. Grok's excited to see it come together. He's really excited right now. Let's see. Um, this is okay. I want to ask another question though. So when I come up with ideas for like decision points or whatever, since most of the story slash plot is already developed, I usually ask you or Chat GPT to questions to help me bounce ideas questions to help me bounce ideas off because sometimes I come up blank. However, some people feel I use the AI chat bots too much. So, ironically, I'm asking you to help me figure out how I can come up with ideas without using AI to help me think of them. Think stuff up. Think stuff up. Okay, let's see what it says. Here are practical low-tech ways people, including writers who've sworn off AI for idea generation, actually generate decision points, choices, and story variations when the broad plot is already set. These methods are delivered the human brain only and have been used for decades by novelists, tabletop RPG designers, and solo game writers. Good. We're going to see here. Quick techniques, 5 to 15. What would this character actually do? Interview. Pick one character involved in the scene. Ask them 5 to 7 brutally honest questions out loud or on paper in their voice. What do I want most right now? What am I afraid will happen if I don't get it? What lie am I telling myself? What would make me look weak in front of these people? If I could cheat and get away with it, what would I do? What would my younger self think of me right now? The answer is almost always produced due to 4 realistic, conflicting options that feel like they belong to that character. Opposite day flip, very reliable for decision points. For any obvious, sensible action the character could take, immediately write 3 of the most contrary versions. Do it more extremely slash aggressively, do the polar opposite, do nothing, freeze, deflect, change the subject. Simple. Obvious action, red threatens werewolves, more extreme, red threatens to eat the alpha's children. It's Grok coming up with this stuff. Opposite, red begs, pleads, offers herself a sacrifice, nothing, red laughs nervously and changes the topic to the weather. You usually only need 1 or 2 of these flips to get usable, interesting choices. 3-column cheat sheet, fastest mechanical method. On paper, write 3 columns, selfish personal gain, safe, avoid trouble, principled, right thing. For the current situation, force yourself to write at least 1 realistic option in each column, even if the character would never pick one of the columns. The exercise usually reveals the tension that makes the scene interesting. Most good decision points live in the friction between these motivations. Still, from human arguments you've witnessed, think of the last 2-3 real arguments, negotiations, awkward social situations you've seen and heard, family, coworkers, strangers in public, online flame wars, etc. Ask, what were the actual things people said when they were trying to win? What passive-aggressive moves did they make? What false compromise did someone offer? Translate those exact tactics, phrases into your character's voice and situation. Real human messiness is almost always more interesting than balanced game design options. The voice journal, 3-minute sprint. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Write nonstop in the first person as the POV character, starting with, okay, so right now in this situation, I'm in the situation I feel. Don't stop, don't edit, don't think about good choices. When timer ends, look for 2 to 4 moments where the character hesitated, contradicted themselves, or sounded most emotionally charged. These emotional wobbles almost always point to the legitimate decision branches. Okay, not bad. Slightly longer, but very high yield methods. Role reversal exercise. Write the scene from the perspective of the person who has the least power in the room. What would they wish the powerful character would do, say, offer it? The wishes of the underdog frequently become the most emotionally juicy player choices. Wrong choice brainstorm. Deliberately list the 5 dumbest, most self-destructive, most offensive, most cowardly things the character could possibly do in this moment. Then ask which one of these terrible ideas is actually tempting to this specific character. The answer is often your most memorable and character-defining choice. One principle that helps most people cut through the blanket is the moment you feel stuck, remind yourself good decision points are almost never about what happens, they're almost always about who the character is willing to become in order to get what they want or avoid what they fear. Now you force every potential choice through that lens. Which version of myself am I choosing to be right now? Options tend to appear much more naturally. Pick whatever these feels like least homework to you today. Try it for 7 to 12 minutes on your current scene and see what falls out. Most people find 1 or 2 of them start producing usable material in a single session. Okay. Probably ask questions that you just answered in the future because I have to listen and work at the same time and I'll miss a lot. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm always repeating myself anyways, so yeah. I'm always talking about stuff. There's always somebody coming in, and I'm always explaining stuff. So yeah, don't worry about it. You'll catch on eventually if you listen enough. Maybe someday I can send you my story outline. It's pretty good. Yeah, sure. And you can send it to my email, which is upgood at hotmail.com. So anywho, anybody can send me stuff through my Hotmail address. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that, but since I only have like four viewers counted on here, maybe there's more. I don't know if Restream is able to pick up all of them, or if there's literally only 4 people, or if there's just 2 people and like I've actually opened YouTube and Rumble in a tab to kind of keep track of the live stream just in case something happens. I can switch over to it. It almost always results in uh, the amount of viewers being starting with 2. So I got 4 viewers right now. I'm almost guaranteed that 2 of them are me, and the other 2 is you and somebody else. I forget who else would be watching right now, but somebody's watching. Somebody else is watching. Um, okay, so um, yeah, you can send me your ideas. Um, okay, let me do one thing. Okay, so sometimes it's not dialogue, maybe it's action. What do you do for that? And is it just questions and answers? I guess there's different brainstorming methods. Um, but I need to see. I need to keep in mind that the whole plot is mostly figured out. That's cool. Yeah, Riley can watch too whenever she feels like it. Uh oh, don't give me that. Grok is under heavy usage. I think I don't know. It might be true. It might be a lot more people using Grok than used to be. But it never used to do this. It never used to mess up on me, and then say this, and then it also says get super grok. So that's why I always think of it as not a real thing. They might do it to keep a certain amount of people working and to encourage you to buy super grok. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I have to refresh the page because that doesn't seem to work. All right. Okay. I suppose the dialogue choice when the overall plot is already locked in, they want to avoid relying on AI for the ideas. These methods work especially well for point-and-click style or interactive narrative games where the player sometimes gets to do something instead of just say something. Okay. Core mindset shift for action choices. When the plot is fixed, action decisions are rarely about changing the destination. They're mostly about one of more of these. Yeah, it is. I was bounced between that and I also occasionally use Claude to help me with some coding. Claude's in a big lawsuit right now for essentially copyright infringement, I guess. Um, the because they took a lot of stuff from people and from like Reddit and from other online sources without actually paying anyone for it. Grok is my new Google. Yeah, yeah. You can also, if you use Brave Search Assistant Leo is also an AI, and it bases its stuff purely on the search. It's part of the search engine. So you can type into here. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. Uh, I'll search for plastic food. Plastic food. Oh, okay. Well, that's not going to pull up the AI. In fact, plastic food. Here, the term plastic food can refer to distinct concepts: fake food models used for display, and real food packaged or contaminated with plastic materials. Okay. Anyways, that's not. Oh yeah. Hey, welcome, Riley. Uh, share this kind of content. Keep it up. Yeah, yeah. I stream every weekday, so Monday through Friday. I do two streams. I call it an episode. Where I have a break because I used to do it in like 1 3 to 4 hour block, and I would take a break, and um, sometimes they take too long, and so after the break, people can come back. Or at least I don't get that many people viewing, anyways. But so I divided it up into two deals, so I take an hour long break. So I stream from 11:30 to 1, and then I take a break until 2, and then 2 to 3:30. So I'm time for this session is almost up today. I got about 15 minutes left for today, and you can pop in and out whenever you feel like it. You don't have to feel obligated to watch it all the time or whatever. I'm sure there's I've got so I'm up to episode 233. So that means I've got 230 plus streams and stuff. I got other stuff on the channel, but as far as the this game is concerned, It's I'm up to 233. So a lot of it's going to be boring stuff. I do talk pretty much throughout the whole stream though, so it's not like you're going to be bored like not something going on. It's just uh, I do a lot of the same stuff sometimes, especially if you watch any of it, it's going to be boring. Sometimes it's technical, stuff like that. So you can you can pop in and out. Don't worry about it. Um, anyways, okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, plot is fixed. Change the destination. How violently, quietly, messily, cleverly this thing gets done. Which resource, tool, person, body gets sacrificed or risk. The order sequence which subtasks happen. Whether the player character. I don't know. Maybe I should just look up brainstorming techniques. I guess you know stuff you can write on stuff um, to generate ideas. Make a vertical list of every single verb you can think of. Possibly complete the sentence. Character needs to get past the guard in order to advance the plot. Sneak. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Cost price column. Great for meaningful feeling choices. Action I could take. Who do I risk? Lose pay. How does it change how I feel afterward? Okay. Sneak past. Get spotted later. Tense but proud. I see. Even if you only fill 4 to 5 roles, you almost always find 2 to 3 that feel like real different paths. How ugly this will get scale. Okay. Environmental inventory scan. This is the aftermath postcard. Hospital City, War World, and the final book, The Fulcrum. That's going to be my trilogy. Well, it's nothing like the present. You can get started back up again. Just work on it. Work on a little bit every time. And that's basically what I'm doing. It's going to take me years probably to actually, phase 1 should be done in a few months. And then I go on to phase 2. Phase 2 is going to be the exact same game, except for I'm going to expand the story, and I am going to add some features. The aftermath postcard method for a much way. Single postcard from a character, someone they care about, hate. Oh. Write 3 to 5 different versions of that postcard. Set up these 4 questions in order. What's the minimum the character has to do to advance? What's the most violent version of the action? What's the most cowardly avoidant version? What's the most clever show-off version? I start it so I can see what you think. Yeah. What's 90% of the time you get 3 to 4 solid character appropriate action options from those 4 answers. Pick whatever of these feels easiest. Yeah, that heat sheet version that you just mentioned will probably work to start. I thought you were thinking I thought you were going to suggest like mind mapping or whatever. What about visual ways of idea generation? Let's see. I gotta see the new Predator movie. I think you'd like. I got to. Oh, you got to see it. Okay. I know a lot of people were trashing that. We're trashing how it looked and stuff. But if it's good, maybe I'll see it. We just with some of the Christmas stuff, I got that Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves with Chris Pine in it, and that was okay. It wasn't too bad. It was a tiny bit woke. They tried too hard to do diversity in it. It didn't have any gay stuff in it, which is good. but they made all the men. They kind of emasculated the men, sort of. Chris Pine at one point he's knitting mittens in prison for his daughter, and now really that's just a kind of a funny character quirk thing. So that's not really a big deal. There's Bradley Cooper has like a small part in there where he's like this little guy, like literally he's like 4 feet tall or whatever. Michelle Rodriguez is like a normal size. Michelle Rodriguez is in it too, and uh, and so she apparently likes these little guys, I guess. But they do some of that, and really the male characters, at least white male characters, don't get you know they do the kind of role reversal. It's not real bad. It's not like they're forcing something. It's still a fun movie to watch, kind of. Don't be throwing weird random comments, and I'll try to stay in my lane or ask topic relevant. Predator's no junk in it, just monsters and monster gore. Oh, that sounds like something I could probably watch that. Yeah. Um. Yeah. When was the last time you saw Real Genius? Because they got that on Kroll. You already mentioned Kroll to you. That's only a limited edition steelbook version of Kroll on 4K. But I've had a DVD for years, back from Oregon. Um, so it's a really good upgrade from the old DVD version. Anyways, let's see. Okay. Um, I got a few minutes left. Uh, yes, cheat sheet is solid low effort starting point for action decisions, especially when the plot is already locked. Okay, we'll see if we can find a way of watching it. You know how things go. Sometimes movies pop up on YouTube that we can download or we can even watch occasionally. Or we might just wait until it comes to YouTube for free, anyways, because sometimes that happens too. Although they usually wait for a little while before they actually get to the free YouTube stuff. Okay, so yes, the cheat sheet. But you're right. Visual messages can be a game changer when you want to see the possibility, especially spot connections you might miss unless, or get out of linear thinking rut. Writers, game designers, and interactive fiction creators have relied on these for decades, long before any AI tools existed. They work particularly well in decision points, so they let you see branches, consequences, and character paths at a glance. Here's one of the most effective, purely visual ways to generate ideas for decision points, action choices when the broad story is fixed. All right, I'm gonna clip out. Okay, or dip out. Okay. Oh, dip out. It looks like clip because my I don't have my glasses on, and I'm just close enough. I'm just far enough away that it's slightly blurry. So it says clip out, but it actually says dip out. Okay, pretty cool. How hard would it be to send movies that I've downloaded? Might be kind of difficult. You need some sort of space that is able to some sort of web space or space in the cloud or whatever, like a Dropbox or something, a Google Drive or something that can take the file size of your movie. Anyways, probably shouldn't talk about that on stream though. You can talk about that to me on phone or in email if you want. You just remote my desktop and stream movies. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Mike could do something like that. We can talk about it later. Probably shouldn't be talking about it on here. Yeah, if it's some downloadable form, then the files are going to be super huge. But it kind of depends. But like I said, maybe we shouldn't talk about that over the stream. This is a public stream, by the way, so uh, start with the scene's core required action in the center bubble. Red commits roles to join Max. My mapping. Branch out radially with main categories of approaches, threat, bargain, and appeal. From each branch, add sub-branches for specific actions. Use colors or icons to mark feasibility. Draw curved lines, connections between unrelated branches to spark hybrids, appeal to emotion. This method naturally surfaces 4 to 8 viable options. Fast because the visual spread prevents fixation on the first idea that pops up. Many interactive fiction writers use mind maps early to explore choice clusters before writing any text. All right. Yep. Okay. See you later, John. It's about time for me to end the stream anyway. So give me a couple of minutes, and I'll the stream will be over anyway. So yep. And if Riley's not still there, thank Riley for popping in. Okay. Yep. Yep. Talk to you later. Yeah, you can pop in whenever, pop out whenever. It doesn't matter. If you're busy, uh, you probably won't be. If you're busy, you probably won't be paying attention to the stream. So that's cool. Whatever you want to do. Let's see. Flowchart branching diagram. Draw the scene as a simple flowchart starting with the problem moment. Roles demand proof. Draw arrows outward. 3 to 5 immediate actions. Fetch mag, slide out proof. From each action arrow, quickly sketch short sequence line, consequence lines, what happens next. Use dash lines for risky but tempting paths, solid for safer ones. This visualizes how choices feel different without needing full prose. Especially good for action-heavy scenes because you can see the shape of the branches. One path is short and brutal, yet another long and sneaky. Okay. Storyboarding, comic strip style sketches. Create a rough comic strip panel. Yeah, okay, that's the one I'll have a little bit trouble with because my drawing is so great these days. Shaky hands, worse on a graphics tablet. Not as bad on paper, but still not that great on paper. So, okay. Create a rough photo panel, setup moment, possible action path, aftermath state for the path. Even terrible drawings work. The act of visually sequencing forces you to think about timing, risk, body language, environment, great for physical actions. Because you literally see the movement and messiness. Yeah, environmental inventory scan and plus sketch. Draw a quick, messy, top-down sketch of the location. Yeah, I started doing that, right? And anybody that's seen me in the past, I've started doing that in Blender. Blender grease pencil is kind of good for that. I can use that as a sketch pad. Label every object feature visible in the space. Rusty chain, flickering torch, loose floorboard. Use arrows or circles to connect each one possible action. Use weapons, circle around cubs. Threaten to force compliance. Highlight 3 to 4 to feel most character appropriate. Visual layout makes it obvious how environment can inspire choices you might not think of in text alone. The spectrum line or scale. Draw a single horizontal line on paper. Label the ends with extremes, completely clean, stealthy on the left, total chaos, brutal on the right. Mark 4 to 5 points on the line. Write one concrete action at each spot. Creates a visual gradient of intensity, very useful for action choices where the tone matters. How ugly do you let it get? Quick tips to make visual brainstorming work when the plot is fixed. Keep it messy and fast. Use scrap paper, no perfectionism. Time box 10 to 15 minutes so you don't overthink. After generating the circle of the 3 to 4 that feel the most true to the character's current motivation, state. If stuck, start with the most obvious, sensible action first. Analog friendly, have powered. Yeah. Now this will help. Now I'm going to start visually brainstorming, partly because of the over-reliance. I don't know if that's even a word. Over-reliance. Maybe I'll just over-dash reliance. Reliance on AI. And also because looking at text and chats are pretty boring on a live stream. Okay, so I got one more minute and then I'll be done. Perfect. Switching to visual brainstorm is a great move for multiple reasons. Breaks the text-only cycle, makes the process feel more creative and alive, gives you something dynamic to show on stream. Quick sketches, arrows, forces different brain pathways, often unlocks ideas that feel more yours. The physical act of drawing, moving pen on paper tends to reduce overthinking. Quick setups, tips for visual brainstorming on the stream. So it looks good. Flows naturally. Use a large sheet of paper, whiteboard, or even a tablet with a stylus if you have one. Have colored markers, pens ready. One color for safe, obvious options, another for risky, tempting, another for wild, extreme. Keep a simple legend visible. Work in short bursts. Talk to viewers through your thinking as you draw. When you get an idea you like, circle it big or star it so it's obvious for the camera. If you're using paper, take multiple sheets side by side as the scene grows. Very cinematic. Stream friendly visual formats for action decision points. Pick one that feels comfortable to do live. Quick radial mind map. Big circle in the center. Red musket rubs jointed lines out to main approaches. Smaller branches. Draw icons and tiny stick figures. Next ideas. Horizontal spectrum line. Very fast and clean. Mini storyboard panels. Blah blah blah. Location sketch. Start with whatever feels least intimidating to draw live, and remember, ugly sketches are better than perfect ones. Messiness makes it relatable and shows the real creative process. If you want to share what scene you're working at to brainstorm visually, give 30-second how I'd label starting points prompt without generating ideas for you. Okay, so what does B look like? Really make it a smart move here, both for your own creative process and for the stream. Digital brainstorming, it's not only more fun to watch live, but also makes the whole dev process feel way more dynamic and engaging for users. So sitting at a wall of chat, text, or code, you can see ideas literally taking shape in front of them, connections forming, options crossing out, new branches splitting outward. It's like watching the game's brain grow in real time. A few quick tips to make visual brainstorming stream friendly and effective. Big and bold, use large whiteboard, digital cameras like Concepts, Miro, Excel, or even Windows Ink Workspace, or paper under a document camera, and make text big enough that the chat can read it without squinting. Color code everything, different colors for each. Talk out loud as you draw, narrate your thinking, leave some gaps. You also give yourself a huge creative gift from stepping away from text/AI heavy ideation. Visual methods often unlock ideas that pure typing or chatting never would. If you want to share a photo or screenshot of one of your visual brainstorms down the line, mind map a chapter, I'd love to see it and help refine what came out of it. I guess I'll prefer this response. I almost want to prefer this one because this is straight matter of fact, but it's almost recapping what it already said. So we're gonna do this one. Okay. Okay, thanks. We'll keep that in mind when I work starting tomorrow. Probably using Blender's grease pencil. I can use that as a sketch pad. Also, get me used to tablet drawing, and also use the grease pencil, which if I ever get the actual animations I'll be using for 2D animations game. I think that's my digital sketchpad is super smart. Yeah. I know. I'm such a great guy because I do this. Okay, I'm gonna be finished here in just a second, guys. So whoever is still watching, you can leave if you want. It's cool. I'm cool. You don't have to leave. Obviously, you can just leave it. But I'll be stopping the stream in a few minutes. Fast, either thing choice, especially build skills you need related to 2D animations. Quick practical tips. Start with 2D animation template. Right, yes. Sketch to draw mode, top left down. And if you have a tablet, grease pencil nightly supports. Yeah, I know that. Turn on auto key in the timeline. If you want to doodle multiple frames easily. Yeah, auto key. It's actually set up. I think it's at least in 4.4 it's automatically set up. I don't know about 5. I haven't downloaded 5 yet, so maybe I'll download 5 here soon, and we'll see there. Pro tip for Canvas: Comfort, install the official Grease Pencil Tools add-on. It adds canvas rotation, Control Alt Middle Mouse, so you can tilt the view like real paper. Huge for natural tablet drawing. Well, maybe. I'm gonna. That would actually be good. That's part of a tool, but I'm gonna be when I do the actual practice, I'm gonna be practicing just straight up, because I got to be able to do vertical lines straight and horizontal lines straight. Horizontal lines are better than vertical lines. Vertical lines have a shaky hand, as you can see in a couple of things that I've tried it in. Um, Workflow for visual brainstorming. Mind maps, decision trees use layer for structure, one layer for the central node, then new layers for main branches. Draw arrows, connection, line tool, flowcharts and branching. Draw boxes for key moments and arrows outward. Use the fill tool to shade options differently. Duplicate grease pencil object for alternate versions of the same scene. Rough story web panels. If you want to sketch out chapter beats visually, use multiple grease pencil objects or layers for sequential panels. Then add a simple camera and frame them. Great practice later for point and click scene composition. Oh yeah. Keep brushes simple at first. Stick to the default pencil brush for roughs. For cleaner lines later, add marker ink brush. Pressure sensitivity helps you iterate quickly. Tablet specific advice. Pressure works out of the box in most cases. Blender restyles input directly. When it feels lines feel off, check preferences. Okay, whatever. Shortcuts on tablet buttons. If your tablet has a map, common ones like Control Z, undo, draw mode, tab, toggle mode, save tons of times. If you need a tablet drawing, start slow, practice circles, lines, hatching on a blank canvas to get the feel. 3D viewport can feel weird at first, but once you're comfortable, it's liberating. Setup will feel a bit more hands-on than text chats. It'll look amazing on stream. Viewers love watching real-time strokes appear, branches grow, and okay. So I'm gonna try to do that. So now I'm about ready to turn off the stream here. I see I got one more viewer right now, so apologies if you're late to the party, so to speak. And that went away again. Okay, that's okay. Whatever. Uh, okay. Okay, thanks. We'll keep it in mind. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I might try to do that tomorrow. The very thing tomorrow. I might try doing brainstorming, mind mapping, whatever. You know, visually just drawing stuff onto a screen and writing stuff out. Even though you probably won't be able to read anything I write or be able to tell what I'm drawing. But I'll do it anyways, just so that when people are watching, they don't get the idea that I'm just using nothing but AI and there's not anything visually interesting going on. We're going to try that tomorrow. We'll see. We will see. We will see. So thanks everybody for watching. Special thanks to my brother and his and my sister-in-law, and for dropping by. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, and 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern U.S. time after the break. After my break. Okay. So, anyways, yeah. Here, I'll do my little recording while I'm still on stream here, because it makes things a little bit easier. Okay, today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, and today I didn't get a whole lot done, partly because I was explaining some stuff to a new viewer, and then also because I was determining how I was going to arrange these pages into the deals, and then I was trying to figure out how do I come up with ideas without actually using the AI so much, and which I ironically use an AI to help me figure it out. And so that's what I did for today. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll actually get to some actual decision stuff. Okay, stop streaming, stop recording. Okay, so yes, thank you for watching part 2, and I will see you tomorrow if you're interested.